Join us for a tale of betrayal and secrets in a world without gods, metal, and mercy. Welcome to Asunder.
How we doing, everybody? As you can see, the world is back to normal, and it's no longer the chaos of 4 people here that I can't handle at all as the keeper. But I'm your keeper, Paul, and I'm going to have everybody introduce themselves, and then somebody else is going to reintroduce themselves, and we'll get this party started. So I believe we're going to start with Jess up at the top and go clockwise.
Hi, it's me. I thought I was muted, but I was not. How are you all doing today? My name is Jess. My pronouns are she and they. And today I'm playing Silphi, whose pronouns are she, her. And yeah, I don't want to talk about anything because sad times are coming. So I'm just going to go over here and prepare to cry. Bye.
That leaves us to Darby.
It's me. I totally forgot because I was distracted by living weapon stuff. Hello, it's me. I'm Darby. I use she/her pronouns, and I'm playing Rin, who also uses she/her pronouns. And that's it.
All right. I will go in order, and we'll go ahead and go to Gigi and give Gigi the floor.
Yeah, I am Gigi. I use any pronouns. I was playing our poorly recently departed with at least a beautiful explosion of herself, really. Shri, our little light cultist, who sadly is, that explosion really is making her no more. And today you will be meeting Talvara, who I am not going to say anything about.
Mm-hmm. To that, we have Marlo with a face.
I don't know who it is, but I know she singled me out with it. I'm Marlo. I'm playing Dayra, who is our captain. She is a seafarer with a bad attitude, and but a heart of gold, but a lot of guilt, and even more guilt today. That's it. That's me.
All right. And last but not least, the return of Spencer.
Hello, I'm back. I am Spencer. I use he/him pronouns. I am playing Amaranthus, who uses they/them pronouns, and they are waking up having no clue what happened last session. And frankly, your boy, and by extension, your plant thembo is scared. So
I'm going to give everybody time to collect themselves briefly and cover sponsors. And then we're going to get this show on the road. We have 10 Star Games, who is providing Relic for us this season. We have Evil Hat Productions for our Tycon Squadron. We have Helmsgate, who is doing Cult. And we have Grinding Gear Coffee and Dice Dungeons don't provide any games. And because Spencer's back, I'm going to throw the last one back to him again. I got it right last week, I think.
Our final sponsor is Modifius, who makes such wonderful tabletop RPGs, such as Star Trek Adventures, and another 2D20 system that you will see here on Weave the Tale this season with the Fallout 2D20 system. I believe that game is on... Forgive me, because I know Ian, our tech, is the one running this. I believe it's Saturdays that the Fallout game is on, so go check out those fine folks when it airs.
There we go. So, as we last started, so we're gonna pick up moments after a giant shard of discord now and disquiet is now followed over the docks, probably, making your ferry out of commission at this point in time for Dayra, because, she exploded, which means there's now unreality consisting on the major trade hub of the area. And you guys get back across the city with a box, because you haven't taken them out the box yet. And I'll leave it to you, because I'm just going to set the scene, which I assume is Rin's townhouse that Rin has been renting. And now you have an Amaranthus in a box and 3 lovely companions and emotions to deal with.
Have I come to consciousness yet?
Not really.
Okay.
Just gonna
I shall say.
put Amaranthus on the ground, or like on a bed, a couch. A chaise lounge that Ren purchased, just laying Amaranthus down so that they're like lounging.
That's
Did
great
Ren-
based
did-
on the. No, I was gonna say that's
Go
great
ahead.
based on the description of what they look like, because they look like an elf, like sitting on a lovely chaise lounge, like so fancy.
Yeah. So you place Amaranthus on the fainting couch, and you will find that the base of Amaranthus's neck, there's a spine, probably about that big. Dayra recognizes it as a probably a piece of living gear that is keeping him unconscious and paralyzed. And when you remove it, they're probably gonna come due rather quickly. So
Yeah, I'm gonna remove that thing.
okay. So Amaranthus looks up. You're on the chaise lounge, and your 3 compatriots are kind of looking down at you.
Considering what they have endured the last 3 days, the last however long they've been gone, probably the
3
first thing that happens, Amaranthus's eyes shoot open and they sort of just quickly grab Dayra's wrist, not knowing it's her, and sort of looks, sees that it's actually her, immediately pulls her in and hugs her.
She she hugs them back and like immediately bursts into tears. And this is maybe, other than Chris's death, the only time anyone's ever seen her cry. So she just like busts into them. I don't know if I can do it that quickly. We'll see. I'll talk into it. We'll see. I'll get there.
And as they're sort of looking over the rest of the room, where's Shri?
Shri. Shri didn't make it.
We had to fight to get you back, unfortunately. And Shri made a decision that you had to be protected at all costs.
She told me to tell you that she saved you. She did it.
You just feel the grip tighten. She's not that... Stupid's not the right word to use, but come on.
She knew the cost of her magic. She didn't understand why you and all of us were mad at her, because it was outside of her comprehension to understand how the act that she had done harm. But she knew that she hurt you, And she was willing to do anything to make it up to you, I think.
Make sure you made it back here.
I mean, was there anything left of her?
She took out an entire... I mean, how big was this explosion? Was like the entire ship just blasted?
No, when she blew up, remember how on the beach there was, I think, kind of sort of growing as she shunted her discord? Imagine that happening, but as a wave that came out from that area as you guys were running away from it. And it was probably about a mile to a mile and a half. And in that area now, reality is not really reality.
I mean, there's about a mile of not quite reality, but nothing we could bring with us.
So that makes 3.
3. And it's my fault again.
No, it's not your fault.
It is.
If anything,
I could have done something differently. I could have done anything. We didn't have to attack them that way. It was me. I threw the yellow glass. I started it. We could have stealthed them. We could have. There's so many options, and
I think Shri would have, no matter what we did, I think Shri would have done exactly what Shri did. Do everything in her power to make sure Amaranthus was no longer in that situation. I think regardless of how we chose to attack, it would have happened anyway. Because that was the only thing Shri was focused on at that very moment.
Whether on a dock or somewhere else, it was going to come down to a battle.
I just wish I could have helped.
And, well, it's no one's fault except for my terrible uncle, so, you know, if you're going to blame someone, blame the person who put Amaranthus in the box.
And Dayra, I don't think I blame you for what's happened. There's Warson. I think we blame for all of this. And trust me, I'm going to make sure that man's blood spills. No more.
yeah, no more.
So, what's our next course of action?
So, those of you who are looking at Amaranthus can tell that they have been through a lot. The probable next best course of action is for them to get rest and recover, because they are not healthy. They have sustained 3 days of enhanced interrogation, for lack of any better term, and their memories are a bit jumbled. They remember being questioned about the Red Alliance and something about New Gaia, but it's all a blur right now due to drugs and sleep deprivation. And hopefully after some rest, Amaranthus will remember those particular situations, those things. But given that you're his companions, rest is probably the thing that is in order.
you to rest, Amaranthus. That's
Yes, please let
So
us.
there's-
I think like Silphi would like to bring over some water and be like, "You have been in an undue state. Please have something to drink. Lie down on this very fancy couch that Rin has brought in here. Rest."
They take the cup. They probably just stare into it for about a minute. Takes a sip of it and just sits. Basically has sort of a 1,000-yard stare just into the floor.
We have time before we have to really. We have some time before we have to do anything. So take what you need. I'm gonna go see what's happening in the city.
Oh. So, Rin wants to go see what's happening in the city?
Yeah, quietly, like she's going very, changing into mellow clothing, very nonchalant is the word I'm
What
looking
is
for.
mellow
Just
clothing for Rin? Half as many ribbons.
Wait,
Yeah,
I cannot
like-
imagine
like-
a world where Rin is in jeans and a t-shirt. So
Rin's got like hair just in a one bow, tied it back in like a brown color, like
Tactical turtleneck.
yeah, just like casual, very like sleek, but still stylish, but not so stylish that you would go, oh my god, look at that person.
Mm-hmm. So, Rin realizes that the city is very mobilized. Things are very chaotic. It is clear that there is lots of stuff going on at the docks area. There are lots of bone guard kind of sequestering the area. Things are kind of bad in the sense of the major trade location in the major seafarer landlocked area has now basically been put out of commission. Now, seafarers are nothing if not industrious, and people have already basically started to market, let's basically use this area to start building a new docks. Like within, an hour of this happening, people are already trying to capitalize on it. But it is very much something is bad happening, quarantine this part of the area, somebody check up on where all the chaos users are, what happened, people are really trying to figure out what's going on. And it's very, the city is not, as the city is lawless-ish, like the laws are very relaxed here to begin with, this is the most organized response you've seen whenever you've been here. It's not full-blown like police state, but it is there's that thickness in the air that if something goes horribly wrong, there could be riots. There could be a lot of upheaval very quickly. It's that tipping point between things going really good and mellowing back out, or really bad and everything going to hell.
Okay.
It's like that over the next few days, probably the next 3 or 4 days. What does Amaranthus do over the next 3 or 4 days?
I know that their friends told them to rest, but probably does not sleep a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of their time is just spent in the same room the next few days, just sporadic sleeping, and just trying to remember what the hell happened, and seeing if there's anything, if they had been in that fight, that they could have done, but probably not.
Not really. Does Amaranthus spend any time looking out the window or anything?
I mean, they don't do much, so that's probably one of the things they do to occupy their time. Yeah.
Okay. On the third or
I
fourth
think-
day, go ahead.
Sorry, I was gonna say I think Dayra probably stays there and doesn't leave the room much other than to help, like get things for Amaranthus. So not the only thing that's there is a distraction. At least you have conversation.
Mm.
So about the third or fourth day of this, when Dayra has left the room to get Amaranthus something to eat, a Black Islander and a very common-looking man that Amaranthus clearly realizes are some people he's paid to do things in the past come into the eye line of the window and basically like motion for you to come out of the house. They look very startled.
Are there curtains in these windows?
Yeah.
Just very slowly closes them.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't fucking leave. Fuck those guys.
Who the fuck goes up to someone's window and goes,
Well, we hired them, so
Yeah, a while ago when my village burned to the ground and they took the money and ran. No.
did they? They clearly tracked you back down again.
I don't know what they want. I'm staying here.
does Amaranthus tell anyone that happened?
I mean, they tell Dayra because Dayra's there.
So the description he gives you is clearly the very nondescript guy you tried to muscle a couple days ago when you were that asked for Rin's autograph.
Cool. Hold on just one
Wait,
second.
do I
folks.
see
I'm
this
gonna have to go-
person?
I'm gonna have to go away from camera just real quick.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Do I see this person?
I mean, if
He
you spend
told
some
you?
time trying to perceive them, yeah, you can find them.
I threatened them with Octavia.
Yep. But they're kind of hanging around a couple blocks away from the house, like catty corner, and observing. They're not approaching.
Oh, okay.
They're
Does
clearly not
Rin
trying to
notice
interfere.
them? Does Rin notice them as she's like kind of coming and going from the house?
They seem to be
Hello.
incredibly wary of Rin. So, like, if you catch sight of them, they are moving and turning away alleys. It would take you a lot of effort to make it very apparent you were trying to chase them down if you wanted to chase them down.
Sorry, there's leaf blower moving of trash cans right outside my.
Happens. That's a face. Is Dayra looking to try to run them down again and threaten them, or does Dayra leave them be for a day or two?
So I don't think Dayra would have noticed because she walked out of the room to go get Amaranthus something to eat. She's not gonna see them unless Amaranthus points them out to her. Because he shuts the blinds. He shuts the thing.
Well, yep. Pulls curtain open for a second, points them out.
Oh. You know them?
I know. So sorry, I did not hear what was described in the bit where I had to step away. So I know you said one of them was a Black Islander, the other was a common-looking person.
Nondescript. Just somehow the most nondescript person you've ever seen. The Black Islander is very familiar. It is definitely the person you hired all those years ago, because Black Islanders don't get around a ton.
Yeah. I need to remember that Black Islanders. Oh, they're black. That Black Islander's name was Ral. I remember. And okay. Yeah, back when my village was basically burned to the ground, the Black Islander I hired, and they basically just took the money and ran. Nothing was done. I'm not sure why they're back.
Are you sure they took the money and ran? I mean, they're here. Also, that nondescript one, I threatened him the other day when we were looking for you, so that's a thing. Well, I didn't. I actually threatened him with Octavia, so, you know, she's got a beak and everything. She likes to eat faces. When prompted.
I mean, it's been 2 years, I think, since that's happened, so I just figured they did.
Could be. You want me to go talk to him? I can be nice. That's a thing I can do.
No,
sometimes.
I know you can. I should just probably talk with them too, because I'm the person they want to see.
True. Well, let's go together then, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, and
maybe I should take off Octavia, though. She was kind of a little bit spooky, maybe.
She's an intimidation factor. I like her.
Oh, I guess I could leave her on.
And I think as they're both starting to exit, Amaranthus will sort of just look over at Dayra. I haven't said this yet, and sort of unsure of what to do, they'll sort of just kiss Dayra on the forehead. Thank you.
For what?
I'm not on a fucking ship going to nowhere anymore.
Oh, you're welcome. And she just, like, out of nowhere, just, like, gets up on her tiptoes as best she can and kisses Amaranthus on the mouth, and then walks out to the people.
I'm not sure what color green turns when it's blushing, but whatever it is, it's probably just a deeper shade of green. And they're like, okay, and just starts to walk out, almost forgets to close the door, and then just
all right.
Dayra just, like, doesn't even realize this is embarrassing at all. She's just going because, like, you know, she's had lots of relationships. She's kissed lots of people. It's like a, you know, whatever.
So you meet out there. When the very nondescript guy sees Dayra, he pats the. He kind of like looks up to the Black Islander. The Black Islander moves into position like he might have to fight Dayra because Dayra has threatened his compatriot in the past. They're clearly not being overly aggressive. And as you approach, they're like, Amaranthus, good to see you again. You keep odd company.
I got rid of the octopus. You don't have to worry about it.
You're not the company we're talking about.
And then who are you speaking of?
So, you asked us to track down who might have been involved about, you know, burning down your place, your village. It took a lot of digging and a lot of working. And as he's talking, the nondescript guy kind of stop nondescript and turns into the person you hired. Dayra
Oh, the other
quickly
one. Oh boy.
Yeah. Dayra will quickly realize that this person's a seafarer and has lots of adaptation and uses that to remain very nondescript when they want to. Yeah. You did hire 2 people for a job, it just became more lucrative to pool resources. So, it seems that a lot of the marching orders came down from the skimmers, and a skimmer in particular. That skimmer in particular was some high muckety-muck that married into another family, and it turns out you're hanging out with his niece the whole time. And not a great way to approach when, family members of the people that are burning down your town you're hanging out with all the time. It makes everything a little awkward for us.
There is a vice grip on your hand.
You need to leave you with your girlfriend for a minute so you can figure out what you want to do?
No, I just figured out I'm going to have to kill somebody. And I am going to find him soon.
Did he just say girlfriend? Am I your girlfriend?
I mean, are we?
Yeah. So, we figured we'd let you know. That's a you conversation, not an us conversation. Your love life is not, you're not paying us to monitor your love life. But they, the one that morphed basically hands you a stack of, reaches out with a tube that's clearly designed for keeping scrolls, parchment, and he'll hand it to you. It's currently sealed. He's like, I believe that concludes our transactions. But I'd be careful about the dancer you're going out with. Also, if your crazy chaos friend, decides to attack me again, I'm gonna have a problem.
Have you not seen the mile-wide distorted reality here?
That was yours?
I'll make shh.
Good to know. Appreciate it.
God damn it.
The one that was nondescript, came to seafarer, becomes very nondescript again, and the 2 of them walk away but don't completely turn their backs on you unless you go to stop them.
Is there anything that we didn't get from them that we should stop them?
I mean, they handed him a tube of parchment, so you can crack it open and read.
I feel like we shouldn't read something like this in this. Wait, are we in a back alley basically, or are we in a somewhat public alleyway?
You're in an alley. You're in a semi-private alleyway. It's not fully public. It's similar to the place you got jumped in.
Nope. We're gonna go back into the townhouse for this.
Mm-hmm. All right. Sounds good.
So did Rin tell us that it was her uncle? Because Dayra and Shri were not in that box.
Oh. No, because Rin didn't know it was her
right.
uncle until she got into the room.
And they did they talk?
And then everything.
Yeah.
No, I think they just went for it, and then Rin would have forgotten to say until it gets brought up. Oh, jeez, Willikers.
Oh, Almay's pissed.
Oh boy! All right, let's go. Do it. Conflict.
We'll break the seal on this parchment and just start to read it.
So it is effectively a bunch of records of moving around shell companies and other things like that. And basically what you get to find out is that some of the inventors in your town, once you lay it all out and then also have the write-up from the 2 investigators, that what they've kind of uncovered is that Rin's uncle had basically hired a bunch of people from your particular village to work on some projects for him as inventors and creators. They had come into conflict with him about this particular project a couple years ago, and he basically had the town burned down in response to that. As well as it's alluded to that he had whatever things were being created for him taken at the time and shipped away from that location.
Marlo, if you're talking, I can't hear you.
Marlo, we are muty.
Oh no. Oh no, this is important.
No.
Oh no. Oh boy.
We need a quick moment for some technical difficulties.
I mean, we have other people that have things they're doing. We could just cut to them while we try and figure that out.
We can cut to them. So we've got Rin, and we've got
I mean, Rin would probably be out trying to contact her Red Alliance contacts to be like, excuse me, how did my uncle come to this city and what the heck?
They're gonna get back to you. Your uncle is a very hard man to monitor because he tends to pop up. It is alluded to that he has access to some living equipment that makes him hard to track. Makes him very annoying to deal with, and he's probably a fairly big mover and shaker. They're going to try to keep tabs on him as best they can. Because Rin is out in the city on a regular basis, the city is, again, at that really high tension point over the last couple of days, where if there's a big blow up or if something happens or if things were to get out about what really happened, it could cause a very big problem.
Can Rin?
What's up?
Could Rin find out what the ring, like more about the ring that she has, her father's signet?
If Rin takes some time to get it, she finds yes. So the profession, one of your professions, leads you to being able to examine very fine details on things, but it's required to disassemble stuff. If Rin takes the time, she will note that the signet ring has lots of very, very minute details on it that seem like they could possibly fit into a situation where it might fit into a situation where it would be used to unlock a secret door somewhere. Or possibly it could be used as a key of some sort based upon the differences between what you thought was going on with the ring and what the reality of the ring is. So there's that. This does leave Bug Mom alone for a while, it seems. Bug Mom will get a message from a messenger beetle.
Charlie 2.0.
No, that's a courier beetle. This is an essence power that other insect bonded have. That's a little messenger bug that tells the person some words and lets them know what's going on. The messenger beetle is fairly vague, but it does hint that members of your religious persuasion, the belief system you might carry that comes with your ability to things up, have something they want to talk to you about post the craziness in town.
It doesn't say it doesn't have a particular name or anything like that. It's just from the Church of Mom, I'm gonna say.
What's up? It's basically it's set up in a manner that alludes to the fact that it is somebody who is probably making some moves inside of maybe an avatar of said religion, somebody who has spent more time in tuning themselves with Gaia.
Does it say where and when they want to meet?
You can send a message back in the beetle saying you received it if you wished. and start a small conversation with them over it.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll basically send one back inquiring for more details, like making it very clear that I'm here to help or listen or do what if needed, but I need to know a little more first. Like, I need to know exactly what you're looking for, and I need, just a little bit more info.
Sure. You get basically, you through the course of the correspondence, they reveal that they're Chandra, who is an avatar of Gaia, which is a much more advanced down the path that you could walk in service of Gaia. And they have been alerted to your connections and activities in the area due to some observations. They are making sure you are safe after the large eruption of chaos, but if you could aid in a manner that is important to the primordial being, that would be super great. And by super great, they mean you should come to this meeting, because if I have to track you down, it will not be great.
Well, that's rude. Jeez, like...
Yeah. Oh, it's polite, but it's polite in that way that, like, there's an implied not niceness if you don't show up. Like, you can come and we can be friendly, or you can not come and we can not be friendly. It's that arrogance.
Obviously, I was gonna... Who taught these people manners, honestly? Like, obviously I was gonna go. They don't need to be rude about it. Like, ugh, I can't believe. I would actually probably communicate this with Rin, because Amaranthus and Dayra have been, like, having, some private time, and I don't want to take anyone with me, but I do want to let, a pal know, buddy system, and want to let someone know that something's going on. So I will just, like, I know Rin is busy, but I think Rin has been letting me hang out with them in their slightly nicer apartment than the one Amaranthus has.
Oh yeah.
So I would just.
Rin stated they rented the townhouse for everybody. Dayra wasn't staying there because Dayra doesn't stay on the ferry, but the ferry's kind of in an unreality right now, so. Yeah.
We're gonna need to buy a new ship.
Oopa.
Yeah.
Fun times. Yeah, so I would just communicate to Ren that I have to go, like, look into something. It's no, like, big deal, just, like, some people I'm connected with have asked to talk to me, so I thank you so much. I should be back in not too long, and then if I don't come back, well, then probably something has happened, but I don't suspect anything is going to happen. So I don't think it is an issue, but I just thought I should tell you in case, I do disappear.
That does worry me a bit, but if you think you'll be fine. Do you know whereabouts you're going to be heading? So at least we have a direction that we can look for you if you
I would give all the details. I would not hold back information from Rin.
Okay. Rin knows that you are heading, and you know where you're heading. It's basically part of Megalith that has been built over several times. So in theory, you're heading toward the bows of a very old ship that was basically built over to make parts of the base city.
Yes. And I will just also, mostly, like, usually it is lovely, lovely people. These ones were a little bit rude. So I will just, just that is something. But aside from that, I think no problems. There should be no problems at all.
All right. Well, if you're not back by tomorrow this time, we're gonna do what we do and try and find you. Do you want to leave Charlie here, or do you want to take Charlie with you?
Oh no. Do I leave this is the real nothing else until now has, like, been a question in my mind or been a cause for concern until you brought up Charlie. Like, the only thing that matters. Would you mind keeping an eye on him?
Of course. Hi, Charlie. Come here. Do you want to meet Heartbreaker 2.0? It has more bees in
Alright.
it.
Mhm. So you arrive without incident to the boat. You're shown in. There are a couple of other low-level people that you know are affiliated with the Gaian experience, and you head to what was probably the captain's quarters of the ship at one point in time. There stands in front of you what is very clearly a fairly large seafarer, like someone who has suffered many mutations. They have 4 arms, chitinous skin, like extra set of eyes. It's very clear they are well on the road to mutating a whole lot. By their feet, there are what you very clearly note as husks of people that they have probably drained the life from, allowing them to clearly gain access to powers that you are familiar with because you know how all your stuff works. And they welcome you. They pour some tea, and they ask you to sit.
This is much. Now this is manners. This is very good. I will have to. Did you write that letter? Because if you did, I just need to let you know it was a little bit curt. It was a little bit. But this welcoming is very lovely. Thank you. I'm like sipping at my tea now.
I apologize. The meal I ate before sending the note disagreed with me. The individual.
Oh yes, we all. Say no more. We all know how that can be.
We do. It's very obnoxious. So I was dealing with some matters, and some individuals alerted me to your presence in the area, and that your particular group might have things that'll be useful for our mother. In the near future, there's to be a meeting of some individuals, which I do not know how aware of you are. Some members of the Kingfishers, I believe, will be meeting in a few weeks or so, about 10 days. One of them has memories we need access to.
Do you know precisely which one it was? Do you have a name or a description? Because, if there's a lot of them, you don't want to go around just slurping each and every one, like...
My understanding is it's Vivek, the first mate of the Blue Shark. I have a previous relationship with members of that particular ship and cannot attend to that matter, or I would be noted and spotted. But if you can acquire the things he knows, you're looking for a specific date. About 2 years ago, he transported something. We need to know where it was taken to and who it was sold to.
Sorry, I'm making in real life notes.
You're totally fine.
Okay. I'm trying to imagine what this would look like. I'm trying to think. I think Silphi has a better memory than me. I think Silphi is like just swirling the tea and is just like nodding because she has a much better memory than in real life me does. And doesn't have to take notes.
Totally.
They say an elephant never forgets, but a bug person really never forgets.
I've heard that one. Is there anything you'll need before partaking in this matter? Do you need a snack?
I haven't had one in a little while, so if you have anything that's, on anything that's not too much trouble, like you not something that disagreeable like you had,
I know the one. he'll basically call another one of the guidance assistants. They'll shuffle in what appears to be a fairly average-looking mainland man, and he'll just snap the dude's neck and offer you the body.
Oh, wasn't expecting. Thank you. Okay.
Just need a quick snap, a little.
It's just, yeah, it's not just a snack, it's a snack. Perfect. Sure. And I'm gonna do slurps because I haven't gotten to do slurps in forever. And just Do they have anything interesting?
This person was like
really boring.
Nope, this person was near the docks during the explosion and saw like Rin leaping away from the explosion and went and hid. And like this, like that's the most vivid, exciting memory they've had in recent distance. And this person went and hid, and then got, stuck in the bowels of some ships, and the Gaians scooped him up for later use. But yeah.
Oh, all right, very mild, that one. Thank you. You don't, if you haven't had a snack in a while, you don't want to go straight to something really spicy, So that was good.
Yeah, not a problem. If you are in need of more assistance on the matter or need more energies to handle, please let us know. And
thank you very, very much.
Let you go. You come back from your meeting around the same time Rin is coming back to the house that evening after Dayra and Amaranthus spoke to their brand new friends. So.
Yeah, I think. You hear me? You guys can hear me, right?
Yes, we can.
I do exist. Okay. I think Dayra, in reviewing all of this, because she was not, because as we determined, she was not there to meet this uncle, so she didn't know this existed. And she says, she's like, maybe Rin's not in cahoots with her uncle. If I'd kill my father if he was here right now. So I mean,
They aren't responding. They usually aren't very expressive, but in some way you can tell in their own sort of way they are fuming.
I think Dayra just leans over, gives them a pat on the shoulder, and says, "I'm sure there's a reasonable explanation. I'm the one that always goes rage, but we know Rin. There's no way."
Do we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we do.
And they're just gonna sit. They don't know how to process this, so they're just gonna sit.
Cool. Rin and Silphi arrive around the same time back to the townhouse.
Rin would have brought some food, I guess, that she found as she walked by. Maybe something like a cake that reminded her of Shri, just for memory's sake. Just, is floating it behind her while she's carrying everything else.
Please tell me it's a cake that looks like the creepy ass doll mask she wore before she died.
Oh,
Please.
you know what? Rin would have bought a doll, cut off the face and then put it on the cake.
Oh god.
Got them to put some fondant over it so that it just doesn't look like There you go. Anyone home? I got should, remember our friend Shri with some pastry. I bought a cake. I may have decorated it a little bit.
Shri
really.
did really like pastries. Oh my, what is on that cake?
Well, I thought we could commemorate because we didn't have. I bought this doll, and she'll pick up like the rest of the doll. I bought this doll, but the rest of it didn't quite look like Shri.
Silphi's gonna reach out a hand and just try and get you to lower the doll.
But anyways, we didn't have anything, so I bought this and it didn't quite look right, but the face was the shape was quite comely, I suppose. So I just had them put some fondant over it, and it looks like Tree a little bit.
I think it is very nice sentiment.
Yes.
She would have loved it.
I hope so. Anyway, she's gonna throw the doll into the trash. Anyways, cake. You all look tense.
Amaranthus will sort of just walk over to Ren. I'll take this, and just grabs the cake out of midair. You're going to read this, and hands them the letter they were given.
Rin will start parsing through the papers and letters and stuff. And just... like, you see her face as she's, like, looking through all these documents just go from, like, what? To go, oh, to go, oh, to go. I see you have some past history with my uncle, as it were? Or...
Yes, but he renamed Faceless and Nameless until today.
Quite. It seems to be his modus operandi, as it were. He's a very difficult man to track down, and believe me, I've tried.
This is probably the one person I want dead just as much as Lishka.
Understandable.
But
He was...
my own self-interests and projects can wait. I think. What more do we know about Lishka and where we can find him, if anything?
And at that point in time, you'll hear what is effectively a police knock at the door. Just be like somebody who's not happy and their knuckles are rapping against the wood.
Is there like a little peephole?
Sure.
Rin will look through the tiny little peephole. She put it in a weird place.
I will let you
I
describe.
think you will see a pile of gray and black fur, and that is all you can see through the peephole.
Sorry, we're not interested in buying wares at the moment.
I can use my axe, or you can open the door.
There's like 3 seconds of pause. Rin like looks at everyone and then just
do
starts
I
unbolting.
recognize that voice?
You do.
Do I?
Uh-oh.
I'm not sure what reaction I have, but Dayra has a reaction.
I will text you.
Rin's just
'Cause you
gonna
would
start
recognize
unbolting
that
the door.
voice. Mm-hmm.
As soon as the door is unbolted, it just opens, and it will open, shoving her, because that pile of gray and black fur that you saw shoves the door, runs in, and this is a giant raccoon with wings on his back.
I'm
And it immediately tackles Dayra and takes her straight down to the ground. And Talvara walks in, takes a look around, points at Rin behind the door, and is like, "You're the dangerous one. Well, you're the bug, that's obvious. And then, oh, well, you're the other plant. Where's the well, there was the creepy one, and then, oh, Rax, get off her." And he, like, looks up for a second and pads back, like, does that, like, butt wiggle thing when he moves backwards, like he's about to do another pounce. And Talvara just looks straight at Dayra and just goes, "All right, Fishy, where the fuck is my brother? And why hasn't he said anything in a year?"
About that. We need to talk.
Do we? Because I seem to think you don't think we do, since he's been quiet for a year and I had to find you. It's a good thing you've always been loud.
Yeah. That's true. I'm sure Chris told you just how loud I am. Let's go.
Mm-hmm. Cute.
She's like,
and then, like,
walks
coming
out.
up behind. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No. She, like, walks out the door.
I think so. When you walk past Talvara, you will see this other creature, like, right behind her. This little scaled, almost armadillo thing, like, hiding right behind her body, and she just, like, scoops him up. And looks at Rax and looks at everybody else and is just like, "He'll be fine. He'll play. Just keep him entertained." And she follows back behind Dayra.
And Amaranthus is just going to sort of, like, in a panicked sort of expression, look between, like, Rin and Silphi and be like, should we not even speak, just like, has that look of, like, should we at least listen to this conversation?
Who do we? Does Talvara look like Chris at all?
Yeah, it looks like siblings.
I mean, we could just stay here, perhaps. Seems like a heated and private conversation.
Seems like a family matter. Perhaps we should give them a moment. If you really want to peep on them, I'm sure there's a window or something. But aside from that, maybe just give them a second, a little bit of space. And then, if they don't return in a while, then sure, go out and bandy about looking for them.
Did Talvara leave the raccoon and pangolin in the... Oh, yeah.
The pangolin she picked up and took with her. The pangolin she took with her. But the winged raccoon is in there. And there are two different creatures. There's a little pangolin and a giant winged raccoon, like the size of a bear. This thing is huge.
Absolutely sick.
It's
Rin
so
is just
cool.
like, we could just let them do their own thing. And she's already just, like, sort of leaning into, like, just already like, "Hello, yes, you're very cute and handsome. I love you."
Rax is completely, like, reveling in it, like,
pangolin
on his back, like, pet my stomach, all of that. She did take the pangolin with her. The pangolin's
Aw,
physically
but-
attached to her right now. Yeah.
Yes, well, yes, you're very cute. Yes, you're handsome. Yes. Just
Amaranthus will
Upon-
not take their eyes off the door as soon as it closes.
Upon getting outside, Dayra turns on her heel, and immediately, when she was inside, she looked like stiff and guarded. Immediately, as she gets outside, she just drops. Chris is dead, and it's my fault. And I should have called you, and I should have gone to see you, told you.
A letter would have been nice, considering I'd been receiving them the whole time you all were gone.
Yeah, you're right.
Never said you were the most adult at handling situations, and apparently doing something difficult was too hard for you. No shock.
Hey,
I guess I expected more because he liked you so much.
hey, that's enough.
I'm sorry, you get to
I lo-
decide how I deal with the fact that my brother's dead, and the only person that knew me decided just to not tell me? Oh, but I should have. Cool, that makes it better. Good job, thanks.
No, but
I
I
feel
do get
great
to
now.
decide how you talk to me. The only person I ever loved was Chris. I fell in a hole. I couldn't see the light of day. So no, sorry. I didn't think about you.
Sounds like you only thought about you, because you know he wouldn't have
Yeah.
wanted you to do that.
Didn't matter what he wanted. Doesn't matter what you wanted. That's what happened. Depression's a bitch. And so are you. But here you are. We don't have to like each other.
Oh no, there's never a chance
we're-
we're going to like each other. We didn't like each other before. We're not going to start now.
You wonder why I didn't want to talk to you.
You didn't think maybe our mother deserved to know?
Yeah, she did. She really did. We're here for a reason. The person who did this, the
What?
person who killed Chris, he's gonna be here. And
But
we're
what
gonna kill him.
happened? You said it was your fault. What happened? What
We were running glass.
happened?
Running
Fucking
glass.
idiots.
Look. We were running it. We trusted the wrong person. Someone I should be able to trust. And he betrayed me. I never thought he'd betray me. But, he's gonna be here. And we're gonna stop him.
You and I are not done with this conversation, and you are not done with saying everything you need to say to my family. Just so we're clear.
We're clear.
But you're also not killing him without me. The hand that fired the shot is still the one that's getting cut the fuck off.
Yeah.
I think when the little black scaled creature, like oil slick scaled creature, realizes that like the tension has cut just enough that there probably won't be a weapon drawn right this second, it climbs up her shoulders and like jumps onto Dayra's, and you feel just like these little tiny claws grab onto your clothes, and it just stares up at you.
Dayra like at first looks startled and then looks down at it and smiles, and you see Octavia just like reach out and put a
don't do
little
it.
tentacle.
Don't do it. Don't put a tentacle on him. You're gonna regret it, little octopus. He won't do it on purpose,
yeah.
but he'll hurt you.
Dayra, before they head back in, stops and looks at Talvara again and says, I am sorry for what it's worth. I wish I could have pulled my head out of my ass and done it, and I should have. And we all met here for this revenge. No, I've been living at the bottom of a bottle of demon blood this whole time.
Good, so your decision-making skills haven't improved since you were running glass.
Do you ever shut the fuck up? Seriously.
Chris seemed to like women who don't know how.
True.
He always said we hated each other because we were too much alike.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. The truth is, though,
Really?
the truth is, though, I never disliked you, Talvara.
Well, that made one of us.
I know. I think Dayra walks inside.
Oh, yeah. Talvara just follows right behind her. And Pox is just like on Dayra's shoulder.
And with that, I think we'll go to break a little early this week. So people can take the time to get it together. All the insight and intrigue.
Join us for a tale of betrayal and secrets in a world without gods, metal, and mercy. Welcome to Asunder.
Welcome back. We just had some lovely, lovely drama, and I think we're about to do introductions as people re-enter the house. Made sure my lovely players were good with the high emotions that have been going on in this game. This is a very emotional game for everybody. But I believe Dayra and Talvara were just re-entering the home of Rin, everyone's favorite celebrity sky dancer. But yeah.
As walks in, she says, Talvara, everyone, Talvara.
Rin is like arms around the raccoon. Oh yes, hello. Yes, I love this being. If they die, I'll die as well.
His name is Rax.
Hi, Rex. You are very handsome.
He totally nuzzles you when you do the you're very handsome. He absolutely just like instantly nuzzles you, and she just shakes her head.
Yes, very good.
Amaranthus just gives a very sort of meek wave, considering they probably still look like shit from enhanced interrogation.
Yeah.
So,
and in case it... Oh,
here?
sorry.
No, nothing.
In case it wasn't totally evident by that total bitch fest we just had, this is Chris's sister. And no, she didn't know he was dead. That's on me. Does someone else want to give me some shit about it?
No, I'll have more for you later.
Silphi's gonna come around at this point and like put a teacup in your hand, Dayra, and put a teacup in your hand, Talvara, and just start pouring without like saying anything.
Bless. At that, Pox absolutely climbs back onto Talvara and then just buries his little snoot right into the tea.
What?
It is very good. I made it myself. I know. And she like gives a little wink at the pangolin. Like, yeah, you have good taste.
You want to meet our pets? This is Charlie. Like, Rin's gonna pick up Charlie.
Oh no, we have like a ton of pets. Oh god.
Yes, we do.
Pet brigade now. All the pets. Pets forever.
Bonding over pets.
We're opening a zoo on a boat. That's what we're gonna do. That's a retirement.
Talvara will look at how big are courier beetles?
Probably the size of a backpack.
Backpack? Okay. Yeah. So she's just gonna reach out and like scratch his little belly.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. He's just the most handsome.
Just imagine all these little legs wiggling, like so many legs.
And the little like antenna or pincers or whatever he has.
Like one
just,
antenna.
The single antenna.
Oh yeah, his one antenna just like
Yes,
yeah, Rax, who I think Rin has taken from me. You little monster, you better still spend time with me later. You're a very good pillow. And Pox, very aptly named. If you're going to touch him. Only the face, the parts without the heavy scales.
Oh.
And you will notice on her the armor that she wears looks like it's made of the same scales.
Interesting.
It seems we have a common enemy. And as I told Dayra, you're all stuck with me.
I think that only
Sounds
seems
good.
right.
I mean, I can't imagine you'll complain. And she's looking straight at Rin, because if I leave, so does Rax.
Yes, I have no complaints. Although Rex, and you might have to sleep in here. I think it's a little cramped in the rooms. They're not quite that large. I don't know. It depends. Does Rex sleep on the floor or bed? Do you sleep on the floor, little bed? Just.
I just imagine Rin treating a bear like a baby, because this thing is huge.
Yes, but do you sleep on a bed or do you sleep on the floor? You could get a bed if you'd like. I'd buy you a bed.
Talvara just looks back at Rax and is like, don't you dare get used to this. You know better. And he absolutely just like goes way into like trying to like tackle Rin.
Oh yeah, I shall spoil you rotten. Yes. Yes. Quite.
I think at this point, sort of picking up on Silphi's cue, quote unquote, Amaranthus will sort of start to very awkwardly just cut the cake that Rin brought.
Yes, the face. I think they did quite a good job with it. They couldn't quite do glowing orb eyes, so I went for the blank face instead.
Okay. It has 2 plates. Hands one to Dayra, one to Talvara. Cuts a couple more. And cuts like a thinner slice onto a plate. And does their best out of view of Talvara to set it in front of Rax.
We're going to spoil this baby rotten.
And we'll distribute plates to the other people, and just sort of sits on the fainting couch, as we have called it now, and is just taking bites and sort of just watching.
I think we should say a few words in honor of Shri. Oh, Talvara, Shri's dead too, so if you want to put that one on me as well, might as well.
Well,
That
I mean, I'm
one's
not
not
her
on-
family. I don't care what happens to her.
Well, wasn't your fault, Dayra. It was more my piece of shit uncle, who we now have to kill.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Which is great, because it was on my bucket list anyway, so timetable stepped up.
Hey. Glad we could be of assistance then. I just would like to say a few words about Shri. I think there's a lot to say. How do you sum someone up in just a few words? People are like walking enigmas. They're contradictory. You can love someone, and you can be afraid of them. You can love someone, and you can hate them. You can love someone and not be sure they're the best person. Shri was troublesome in the best way possible, and in worst ways. I'm gonna miss that little face, that little featureless, weird face. I'm gonna miss how sometimes I'd wake up in the middle of the night to her standing in the corner of my room watching me, and I didn't know why. But then she'd just crawl into bed and we'd go to sleep. Just like holding my little sister or something. I had family that I could depend on or loved. Not this crew. And Shri was a part of that. And I'm glad we didn't abandon her. That's all I got.
I don't. I almost feel like people are kind of looking awkwardly at Amaranthus, because Amaranthus was the one who spent the most time with them out of everyone in this group. And they just sort of sit silently for a second. They're sort of just not even really eating the cake at this point, sort of just, idly picking the fork at the piece they have. Shri was something. Probably one of the first people I met after my hometown was burned to the ground. She was simultaneously one of the strangest and most interesting people I've met, but I never thought she would actually put her life on the line to save mine. Whatever light she was searching for, I pray that in her death, and whatever afterlife there may be, she has found it in some way. Gonna miss that idiot. And just like shoves a piece of the cake in their mouth. Keeps eating.
Oh? Shri was certainly... Things were never boring with Shri around. One day she came back and she had glowing orbs instead of eyes. The next day she had no face whatsoever. You could never really tell.
Talvara is just like, what is happening right now? Also, Rax has absolutely stolen the rest of that cake.
Oh, yeah. I don't think if I tried, I could ever forget Shri. And I don't think I'd ever want to. She was a part of our journey and never forget those good times altogether. So, looking to sow a little chaos everywhere I go. For Shri. Literal and not literal.
Yes, seemed like many people were either very much taken with or very much turned off by Shri. And I think she was just so special. And, Perhaps a lot of people, ourselves included, sometimes did not understand her fully, but who among us has not been misunderstood? She was a very important part of this group. She did things in her own way, always, and never doubted herself. And that's not something a lot of people can say. Even in the end, she knew what she was doing. She was steadfast to the end. And she left a lot of chaos in the world, like you said. So, here's to Shri. Holds up link.
Just picks up a piece of the cake on a fork and just... Yes.
Talvara just stares at the frosting all over Rax's face and shakes her head.
So the night winds down, and you find yourself in the same dilemma you did earlier. You have no boat now. You need to get out of here and get to an island in a few days to figure out how you're going to probably set some traps and the like, and you need to acquire a boat. So there are a couple ways to go about this. You could go and report that your boat was in the giant chaos thing and looking for a new boat. You could attempt to go to a shipwright and get another one. Given the fact that you're looking to build a ferry and not have a boat grown for you by seafarers, it's probably going to be a little bit easier. But you guys are now in the boat market. Something, Dayra has not been in many years. At least you're in a city where getting a new southern... What's up?
I was gonna make a written comment.
Go, make it.
Could we get one that's a little bit bigger this time? It was a little cramped on the gondola ferry thing. I have money. We have money. We could buy a larger ship, is what I'm saying. Maybe with a cabin, some seats, perhaps.
Yeah.
Ooh, I would love a proper kitchen this time. We need, long trips. We need good nourishment. It's good for the soul. It's good for everyone.
A place that keeps supplies, perhaps.
We ran into
Put in a swimming pool. Hell.
No, that's on water, darling. Why would you want a swimming pool on a boat?
We have a giant...
That feels like one of those
the
useless things
ocean.
rich people do.
Yes,
Sorry,
and I hate the rich.
Rich people do a lot of useless things.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Like my uncle. Useless piece of shit.
All right. So how would you like to try to take care of this? Are we looking to possibly get in touch with some people to try to be like, my boat was taken out during the giant chaos explosion? Or are we looking to just ignore that part and be like, I'm looking to buy a new boat?
So tell the authorities that... I was going to say, if we tell the authorities that our boat was taken out, then I have to show my face to authorities, and that's not a Dayra move. Given that we have the funds, I think probably
tax fraud when Dayra gets the chance.
Yeah, definitely haven't paid taxes on all the glass that I sold over the last few years. So
yeah.
You laugh, but as an accountant, that's a real thing. You have to pay taxes on your drug money.
You do. That's how you don't go to jail.
Well, they busted Al Capone.
Yeah.
Tax evasion. That's how mobsters go down, is tax evasion.
Mm-hmm. That's why everything's in your mama's name.
Yeah, that's true. I think
Uncle Sam don't care
definitely gonna go buy one.
Sure.
Unless somebody can convince me otherwise, because I just don't.
Let's just let's cut out
Let's
the
just go
long
buy
part
one.
of giving them a sob story of like our boat exploded, and they're like,
My
okay, yeah,
grandfather's
whatever.
boat was lost.
So, was your friend involved in the explosion? Like, did they die in it? Is that why we're sad?
Yeah, they caused it.
Oh, that'd be really fucking stupid to go up and go, "Hey, my boat was in that."
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
I mean, y'all are very subtle. I'm betting they know she was with you.
Let's just buy a new one and pretend that we've never had a boat before.
Talvara
So-
immediately looks at Dayra like, you cannot pretend a seafarer's never had a fucking boat before.
Yeah,
That's
we
done it
don't
like her
have to
Dayra.
pretend to be first-time buyers. Then they will,
Or not
you know,
first time,
try
but
and...
then- You know,
Mhm.
just not that we lost our boat in that.
Just in the market for a
Mile
new
long.
boat, that's all.
Yes.
Yeah. My neighbor's
So
got a
we-
nice new boat. I'm trying to keep up with the Joneses.
Mhm. Factual. So we have some professions here. I know Dayra is definitely a sailor. What other professions do we have to help contribute to getting a boat / probably getting a boat that's not on the up and up?
Well,
I have-
I
Yes.
have none.
I
I
have
have
pirate.
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Talvara's
Where
a
am I
mercenary?
There you go.
So she probably has
I
some
could-
connections
Someone
to
with
less
knowledge.
than savory folk.
I'm an informant. Would I know where to get a boat on the?
No,
From
you
a
know
friend,
who to switch to
perhaps?
about illegal boating. You wouldn't know where to go to get a boat.
I have
Um,
contacts. I'm a pirate, so I have contacts I can call
You do.
upon. I also have sailor, so I can look at the boat and tell you
You
if it's a good boat.
Yep. So we have a combination of things that we could probably buy a pretty offensive boat, aka a boat that's going to take a beating. But getting another smuggling boat, clearly not where we're going with this particular engagement. Then again, your next operation is not a smuggling operation. So
Let's get one with
Having one
cannons or
more.
something.
Yeah.
they'd be giant boat-sized spitters, actually, is what they turn into. They're basically super heavy spitters. I was like, does it shoot? 'Cause I want it.
And it's just like, how many heart seekers
with-
can I attach to this
Yeah,
boat?
yeah. How big are the wasps?
Probably the
God.
size of your forearm, because they're anti-ship weaponry.
Ooh, boy.
They are
Awesome.
expensive to start buying those. I'm just letting everybody know that that's not like a cheap purchase.
I
Those
mean,
are
is it
expensive.
2051 sapphires worth expensive? Because that's how much I personally have left.
Mhm.
I
I
think
believe
we
the
could
cannons
pull our
are in the
resources.
200 sapphire range, so it's gonna chalk up real quick if you want to put things on them. But we'll get to that in a moment. We're in the boat market first. So are you looking to other pirates? Get in contact with some other pirates to look who has a boat they need to offload?
Yeah, but I'm gonna go to pirates who really hate. What is his name? Lishka?
Lishka.
Yeah. Because
That's good. Yeah.
because I don't want someone who's gonna get the word's gonna get back to him that I'm buying an offensive boat.
Not a problem. So it sounds like you're looking for a much more like a skimmer / patrol boat this time around rather than a smuggling boat. You're looking for like basically a Coast Guard cutter style boat. You can mount, a heavy spitter on, harder to board, possibly could ram somebody with it, that type of boat.
Mm-hmm.
Like clearly it's not going to go toe to toe with the blue shark because that's a very large sailing pirating ship that looks like a shark and a squid and other things had a baby together. So but it will definitely let you roll up on people that are on the dry dock and mow them down if you need to type situation. So the first thing I need you all to do is figure out how much you're pooling together out of your resources of sapphires to go boat shopping.
Boy.
So now we're at money
Every
management.
single sapphire.
That probably isn't a good idea, because then you cannot keep yourself in the lifestyle you're accustomed to.
That is fair. Almost all my
It'd be a very
sapphires.
big problem for Rin.
Like, Rin would be like, what do you mean I can't buy everything I want all the time? Well, you spend it all on a boat, Rin. Like,
well, if the boat
Why is it
is
my boat?
nice, though.
Is
You're
it
not buying
nicer
a nice
than my
boat.
house because I live there now?
yeah. Yeah, no, like you're renting a townhouse you have to continue to maintain for a while as well. So figure out how much people are pulling together for their boat cost, and we'll discuss that. And if we are looking to buy some heavy weapon, like a heavy spitter to put on the boat, I will build that between sessions, so we don't have to worry about doing it now. Mm-hmm.
I would put
So-
2,000 towards the boat because are we doing that
2,000
now?
towards
Or
the
just
boat.
we're not doing that? Because it's probably going to be like the boat that I live on.
Mm-hmm.
So keep that in mind.
So we're not
After
filling it with yellow glass and then ramming it into the ship.
I mean, we need a much cheaper boat if we're going to do that.
I can contribute 1,000. Oh, but
What we got? I heard 1,000.
I assume.
Darby.
Paul, can I safely assume that some of the things I bought, particularly one thing in particular that I DM'd you about, Ami probably doesn't have a whole lot of money on them right now, do they?
No, they don't.
Would I be able to safely contribute, like, I don't know how much those things, that one particular thing would have cost them. Would I be able to safely would I be able to safely contribute like 300 sapphires, maybe?
300. I mean, safely
Okay.
no, but you can contribute it. Like, you're like, I'm going to have to make sure I order off the value menu for a little while, but you can contribute 300 sapphires.
Okay,
Cool. You're real thankful Rin has expensive taste and likes to spend money, so everybody eats at all the restaurants with Rin, because that's going to help you get through the next couple weeks.
Gotcha. Cool.
did Rin pick up any odd pocket change while doing certain jobs for the Red Alliance?
Pocket change, no. Information, yes, and possibly a couple items she could fence for about 50 or 60 sapphires, give or take.
Yeah, okay. She'd probably contribute 1,300 sapphires, and then the extra gubbins from her
So
jobs.
3,500, 1,350-ish. Then okay.
I have
300
2K.
from, you're gonna donate 2K. Mm-hmm. And Talvara's like, you have my information. I just showed up. I'm not throwing money at your new boat project, apparently. Or is she putting in like, here's 2 sapphires.
I feel like 2 sapphires is more offensive than no sapphires, and she doesn't want to
Totally
offend
is.
everyone else, so she's just not gonna chip in. She brought them pets; they're fine.
Mm-hmm.
She did her part.
All right. So we have
Also,
about
you all fed
5
Rax cake. He's gonna be sick for days.
Bleh, 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 bleh.
I mean, that's
Not
not
on
a character.
the
That's
carpet! No!
You realize that he
Dog
can
vomits out
fly. Yeah, except it's a flying dog who can then do that everywhere.
Rex, go do it outside. The neighbor over there is very loud and noisy and rude. You could do it on his roof.
Bleh, 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 bleh.
oh god, that's a mess. Especially from an animal that big, that's a mess.
Yep.
Whew.
Rin is
5,650
finding a cleaning
sapphires is the budget for the boat. Are we putting that
Whew.
all in the boat, or are we budgeting some of that for the weapon?
We probably don't want some kind of weapon on there.
Yeah, probably
Yeah.
some.
What's
Do
the
you want
weapon
one that's
budget?
like a 60
We all know
40?
Rin's gonna man
weapon?
whatever spitter we put on that boat, like Rambo at like the worst Rambo movies, like that's what's gonna happen. Although that's what's gonna happen, how much money are you spending to make Rin smile like a sociopath?
Yeah, all the money for that.
Oh god.
We want to do 60-40, 60 on the weapon, 40 on the ship.
I flip that around, I think.
40 on the weapon, 60 on the ship. Got it.
Yeah.
Let's put 15.
I think with
let's
how
put
expensive
1500. Yeah, let's
with
put
how expensive
15,000 off
ships
the
are, you
side for the
probably can't
weapon.
fit that much.
What's up? Yeah, 15.
Just like with how expensive ships might be, you may not be able to spend too much on weaponry. I don't know.
True.
No, I mean there's some negotiating involved here, but the living weapon basically has to be grown for the ship because they're not like it. Much like in the Lord of War, if you put the ship right next to the guns, then it's totally not illegal. It's that type of loophole city. Like if I sell you this spitter and the ship together, then it's technically a warship. But if I sell you the spitter and the ship separately, and you happen to put them together, that's on you, not on me.
We love
Technicalities.
loopholes here.
I just happen to like coincidentally need a spinner and coincidentally need a ship. Help me out.
Yeah, exactly. So you start negotiating with your contact. He lets you know that he can basically get you a boat that one of the mainland kingdoms misplaced, that was a patrol boat at one point in time, and he can have it reinforced and brought up to your standards, and basically have all that taken care of for you for about 6,000 sapphires. But you can talk him down if you have things to negotiate with, or if you would like to roll against him and try to bring down that with a negotiation. Like, we'll let some die. We'll let the die roll. So we've not rolled a single die. We're 2 hours in the game right now.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Huh.
yeah.
Well, I am both a hunter and a tracker. So if there's anything interesting he's looking for, I may be able to acquire it for him.
So you're going to sell your services to this gentleman. Air quotes.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I'm helping.
Sure. They will totally take that into consideration and let you know they have something they want, that they have something they would like you to acquire. How you choose to acquire it is up to you. And they'll let you know where that is, and we'll deal with that in a moment. But do people want to try to talk the individual down on the price and do that haggling?
Yeah, can Dayra and Rin, like, Dayra's gonna be like inspecting the ship and just be like, there's a little ding right here. Like, talk to Rin and be like, just like I'm the expert.
Of course there's a ding.
This is the brains.
It's a patrol boat. Conflict. It's a boat that fell off another boat.
Does Rin have any secrets that might appeal to this person to lower the price in exchange for secrets?
Yes, you could totally sell the location of several places that could easily be knocked over to acquire more sapphires illegally that will help you drop the price. How many secrets are you willing to sell this person?
That depends on the discount.
Well, what they'll let you know is they'll basically send some people out to check out that this is good info, and it turns out to be good info, they'll basically start knocking off prices by the quotas of around 500 per place that checks out.
She'll drop 2 secrets. Just
Drop 2 secrets.
I hear I hear there's quite an interesting business that's trying to set itself up on the island over there. It'd be such a shame because there's so many storms that seem to blow through that area, truly.
be such a shame for them to go out of business.
Oh, she absolutely names one of her uncle's holdings as something else that they can target.
Sure.
Just for funsies. Just for funsies.
Sure. And so over the course of a couple days, they will also they'll send Tamara off to acquire a thing, and that thing happens to be a shipment en route to one of the, like an art shipment en route to one of the other kingdoms. How does she want to go getting this art shipment? Does she just jump the caravan, take the art and run, or what does she do? Is it a black on black on black on black on black, it is my crook look situation?
I think she would do her best to kind of how well guarded is this caravan, first off?
There are not like bone guard folks, because they're not paying that much because they're trying to keep a lower profile. But if Talvara is stalking it, there are pretty well armed mercenaries after she promotes them. Possibly somebody she's worked with before as a mercenary. And there's like 3 or 4 people there, and then the merchants themselves. It's designed to be more low key and take a low profile than it is anything else.
That moment where I'm like, crap, I haven't decided exactly how murderous Talvara is as a mercenary. I think she would, actually, I think what she would do is send Vax in there, or get Vax as close to them as, or Pox as close to them as possible, and leave poison everywhere he can. Okay. And then while they are damaged by poison, she will only kill those who are necessary, or if any of the ones she knows notice him, because they would know Pox.
Give me an intelligence roll, just a base one for 10. Like if you get 10, you manage to. The plan will work out. You don't have to kill anybody. You don't need to.
Exactly 10.
Okay. All right. So
Flat
you don't have
10.
to kill anybody. You don't need to. Pox manages to poison people. You come in as a distraction on your flying raccoon bear, and scoop up what you need. They are a little bit down the road before they realize what's going on. When you're gone by then, they're still dealing with their poisoning. They'll knock off another 500 after that for the boat. So if you can haggle well enough, you can get the boat for around the price you want, and then dump the other 1,500 or 1,500 sapphires into building a heavy spitter you can mount on the boat and have it mounted on there. So who wants to try for the haggling attempt? The big haggle.
What
You're gonna roll will.
Will. Okay.
You're gonna roll,
I'm not very good. Is someone else better at that?
That moment when you could have used Shri had she not blown herself up.
I'm not good at will, but would any of my backgrounds help with the roll?
I mean, looking at my stats again, my will is +1.
It's better than me. I got a 9, so I.
Oh boy.
I've also got a 9.
Oh boy. Silphi, what's your will?
11.
Okay, so ours are the same. Cool.
What jobs does that?
But I don't think I have any jobs that work. I have Gatherer Guide.
I have Plant Tender and Spelunker, man. I don't know shit. I don't know shit about negotiations.
I have Informant. I have Entertainer. I have Rebel. I have Assassin.
I feel like Rin. I know Rin doesn't have the best will, but I feel like Rin might have the best chance because she's famous and is like persuasive and pretty and has a lot of social
She
life
would be able to
in
get a
general.
boon out of entertainer. She would be able to get a boon out of entertainer for the role.
I like your
Well,
logic,
I also have
GG.
sailor. So I could get a boon since I'm like it could be like talking up the ship or talking about the ship or like this is little ding here, get a little discount.
I will give either one of you a boon for that particular thing if you want to try the role for Will.
Okay.
Can I use my vital advice here?
You can use your vital advice here. Look at that use of combat vital advice.
Yeah, because I can give you a boon to a challenge is one of my things. So I definitely like walk up behind you and also.
Actually, Jess, my question was: do you want to give a bane to the other side of the negotiation because it gives you a boon or a bane, or do you want to give them a second
you know what?
boon?
Let's do that. Let's. Yeah.
Are Dayra and Rin both rolling for this, or is it just one of us?
One of you has to. One of you is the person picking it.
Okay. I'll give a bane to the enemy.
Give a bane to the enemy. All right.
Up to you. I'm good either way.
Here's the question: does Dayra need more guilt if she fails again? Like,
hey, that's true.
Or does she think this will redeem her?
Hey, let Rin do it. Rin's the performer.
Let Rin do it.
Let Rin do
Delegates to Rin.
Let's. Oh my god!
Fucker, go in the thing. Oh my god, it got stuck.
Okay. $19 total.
Oh yeah, you got it. I only rolled 12. You convince them to come down off the price again. Your fame allows you to come down off the price again. They basically sell it to you for 3,750 sapphires, cheaper than they knocked 750 off the price range, leaving the total mass of what you've assembled left over for 2,250 to work weaponry and other such things onto said boat. You now have a boat. We now have some weapons we can put on the boat here in a little bit that I will deal with between game. You know the location before they get there, so you could start scouting it and see what's going on if you wanted. And you have a whole lot of basically yellow glass grenades, some other glass weapons, and you're ready to do what you're going to do. So the question is what is it you want to do? We're now moving. We've got about 40 minutes left of game, and we're moving into the planning for the big finale moment. Is where we're at. What are the characters planning? How are they planning on enacting their revenge on the people that have taken multiple members of their found family? With a meeting between individuals and maybe some other ulterior motives for some people. Now those started to stack up. What do we got going on? What is the plan?
All right. So for my frame of reference here, just for time, are we planning this as we're sailing to the island, that kind of thing?
I mean, it's however you guys want to plan it out, because you guys have a couple of days before they're supposed to meet there. The island is only 2 hours travel away from Megalith. It's basically like a sandbar style island that comes and goes with the tide, and people set up temporary shop there, do some things, and come back. But it's only about a 3-hour sailing trip. The 3-hour tour away. It's a Gilligan's Island.
Okay.
How often is the bar there and not? Is it like a few hours intervals or like a few days intervals with the island?
It's a few days. It's usually shy of a couple weeks. It's usually shy of like short of a week. So it's usually there for about 6 days. So as far as you are, you're going to see the tide starting to rescend around that particular set of sandbars. You'll have a couple days to scout it because they're probably meeting at the height of the largest size of the island. So you'll be able to basically scout it out as it starts to rescend and the island is there to be done. There's clearly, as you guys come back, there's some makeshift lodging there. Some things that sit a little bit above the sand, a little bit of the ocean waves for people to kind of set up shop there. It looks like it's torn down and used from time to time. but it's not a case of any permanent residence. At least when you guys do your first sail by of the vicinity. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I think at some point before we take off, Amaranthus is going to go talk to Talvara.
I will 100%, since we're obviously doing a little bit of time jumping here with things that are happening. Talvara has been nothing but incredibly nice to absolutely everyone but Dayra. Like, she has actually just been full on nice. Like, she's just a friendly person. It is very obvious that her anger is targeted, and she does not blame all of you.
All right. I'm not sure if they're in town or wherever. Just goes and finds Talvara. Hi.
Hey.
Okay, I'm not so good at this talking thing. But
obviously.
Just like you lost your brother that day, I lost mine too. So the immeasurable pain you are feeling along with not being told, trust me, I understand it.
I'm going to stop you for just a second because it sounds like you're about to put a big old butt on the end of that sentence. And don't get me wrong, I'm a girl who likes a big butt, but I am not a girl who wants to hear one on the end of that sentence. So if you are going to use this as I need to be better to Dayra, you should probably just end it there because it's just not worth the conversation. Let me grieve in my way. I will not stop you from grieving in yours.
Excuse you?
I will grieve in any way I see fit. So if you came here to make some big grand gesture about how I shouldn't be mad at Dayra anymore or anything, it's wasted. If you didn't, I'm sorry. I misread the situation. And I am very sorry you lost your brother and mine. You lost a friend and a brother. That's horrible.
I was going to say that we are going to let Lishka know that it is not us who is killing him that day. It's going to be Azure and Chris, and now...
No, it's not.
Shri.
It's us killing them in their names. It's not them doing it. Chris would hate that we're doing this. We're doing this for us. Don't ever think you're actually doing it for them. We're doing it for ourselves. We're doing it because they took something from us and they must be punished for it. I don't feel the need to lie to myself about what I do or the reasons I do it. It doesn't make me feel better. It doesn't bring him back. It's not the most emotional way to think about it, but it's certainly the most realistic. Because all those people we lost don't gain anything from us killing the person that killed them. But we do. We get closure. We get to know that they didn't die for nothing. So, no, it's all us. And it'll be us, it'll be Pox, it'll be Vax, it'll probably even be Charlie. And yes, Octavia as well, the little bugger's kind of cute. But it's not them. And there's no point in pretending that it is. They're gone.
They aren't going to reply. They are simply just going to walk past. And is Vax the giant raccoon thing with Talvara at the moment?
So Pox is always with Talvara. Rax probably has been intermittently going back and forth between who is willing to give him the most love at any given moment or feed him things he's not supposed to eat. So he is likely with Rin.
Okay. Yeah.
Because he is a giant raccoon. He is literally a trash goblin.
Rin bought him a bed.
Well, just... So is Pox basically on, like, Talvara's shoulder at the moment?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Pox just stays there, his little hands curled in, like staring, looking scared and confused all the time.
Oh, I feel like it would be like a sugar glider, and I could just give them a little umbrella, and they would just be holding it. They're just gonna hand a little, like, niblet of something that Pox probably shouldn't be eating to Pox. And sort of just gives them like a tiny little scritch like between their eyes. Just walks off.
Talvara just watches this happen. Obviously, you're giving your child effectively something right in front of her, but she just lets it go and is just. She knows that they're both dealing as best they can at this point.
Okay. All right. So the area the water around the sandbar / island starts to ascend. You realize there are several structures set up around there. It would appear to be a docking area where a ship can dock. You will notice that there are probably a half a dozen buildings as everything starts to ascend. They look like they're mostly constructed out of what looks to be the husks of sea creatures, so they're fine to be, when the water ascends and comes back and forth, which means that whoever's coming here is bringing their own supplies food-wise, because you're not leaving food in places like that. There might be some traps in there for when the water ascends, you get crabs and lobsters and things like that. But you're bringing a lot of your own secondary food sources. You will know that the buildings look like they're sturdy. If you take your time getting there beforehand, you'll notice you could probably set some charges of yellow glass in places and use like a spitter to shoot them and detonate them or something like that. You'll notice that most of the buildings are kind of outlier buildings, except for the one in the center, which is kind of a larger meeting town hall type situation. You'll be able to gather up, kind of the layout. You'll be able to kind of look at what's going on there. Given what you know about the Blue Shark, because you all have been on it, except for our newest member of the party, you know that we'll have to dock at the larger dock area, and whatever other ships for whoever else might be getting here will probably have to dock at the buildings themselves. So it's a case of that ship is going to eat up the largest amount of space because it is the largest ship. And you're kind of in a situation of whoever they're meeting or whatever the meeting is going to take place about here. You're going to be able to look at it. You're going to be able to look into it like, if a large number of people are meeting, clearly they're going to use the larger area. These ships are going to dock here. You have a reasonably decent layout. You also know that if you tried to approach with the sun at the back or at night, you could probably sneak into this area if you were willing to try to swim it from reasonable ways out. Not everybody here is a great swimmer. Dayra is, but not necessarily everybody else. So you have a couple options about what you might want to try to do here. So
Is it Charlie? Is Charlie the one that's not a good swimmer? It's not his fault, you know. He never had lessons.
He didn't have a mom until recently.
Does our ship have a little?
I'm so sorry, Paul. I'm so sorry.
Do we just
Charlie
do that?
swims all right. It's mostly Rin and Amaranthus, not the best swimmers.
Why swim when you can just literally just jump for 2 miles?
Yeah. Rin was like, I could swim or I could just hop jump.
Just boink back to Megalith. Does the ship have a bird's nest sort of thing?
Your ship? It has a raised area, but does not have a full bird's nest because it's much more like a cutter. So if you've ever seen it's very similar to a Coast Guard cutter. It's basically a ship that's designed to fastly intercept other ships and designed to have exchange with, like, if you were firing like spitters at each other, it's well enough armor that it's not just going to sink when it takes a few hits. It's definitely an upgrade in the sense of how much of a beating it can take from the ferry and how fast it moves, but the living spaces are not great.
Gotcha.
The rest of you are learning rather quickly how to man a ship, whereas Dayra was doing all the work before when you guys were on the ferry. It takes all of you working together to make this ship work. So you're getting a crash
Dayra,
course.
I broke a nail.
You probably broke a lot of nails. Dayra probably
My
also
nails
has
look
you.
terrible.
Yeah. Dayra possibly cuts down your ribbon amount too after the first time you get stuck in the ropes because your ribbons got stuck in something.
Just like, Dayra, help!
Dayra.
I'm trapped in the ropes and I can't jump!
Yep.
You actually got stuck because you were jumping? Like, you kept trying to jump more and you kept getting more tangled? Like...
Yep. It's a lot of that type.
Like that one scene in Tarzan.
Yep.
Just...
Just stuck.
Yep.
So what is your thoughts on how you would like to approach this epic climactic situation that you have a few days to set up for? You know, you want to put a trebuchet on the back of the cutter and, you know, launch your blast? You want to try to set it as bombs before you get there? I said the word trebuchet,
but it's for Rin, so we can just like put Rin in it, and they could just like torpedo. She could just torpedo herself right into it.
You can put Rax in there too. Rax'll he's got wings. He'll be fine.
I think the yellow glass. I think that the yellow glass with charges is probably like the best way. That's my opinion.
Probably one of our better options. Yeah.
Will there be other people on this island though at that time?
Probably just the Kingfishers that they're probably meeting there because there's supposed to be a meeting between Vex and whoever else. At this point in time, you're not sure who Vec is meeting, but the suspicions are fairly heavy that it's probably Rin's uncle. Like,
oh, say it ain't so! I get to kill 2 people at once.
Probability of who they're meeting.
Could we set up little, like, landmines of yellow glass? I know we talked about this previously. Little,
I think that's what Dayra had suggested.
Yeah.
Yeah, such
Although
a
I think,
mines.
Yeah.
Can we make sea mines?
You could
Probably.
try. Be a little weird, but it's doable.
I feel like the landmine method would be a little more effective. Because we could just wait until they get off the boat, and then we just boom.
Yeah. Why use the ship spitter on another ship when you can aim it at people?
Yeah, exactly. More effective that way.
Totally.
Well,
it seems
what
like
do you
we
do then
would.
if?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Jess.
There you go.
No, you. This is where we're just too nice to each other for the next 5 minutes of the stream, everybody.
I'm Canadian, so I can just apologize nonstop. So you better go first.
Oh, damn. I was going to say, I have ADHD, so I talk over everybody and then apologize and feel horrible, and I'll just keep apologizing, but I still think Canadian trumps that card, so I guess I'm going first. So what's the plan, though, with, like, how do we know exactly where they're going to, do we know exactly where they're going to dock? Do we know how we're going to set up these mines? What if they just, sorry, go ahead.
I said, you know where the blue shark is going to dock because there's only one dock large enough to accommodate it.
Okay.
So more than likely, whoever they're meeting is going to have to be in a smaller ship. You have access to the buildings before they get there, so you could mine the building structures themselves and possibly have them fall over, removing some of those buildings from the equation and putting those people directly in the water. You could booby trap it like claymores inside the building, so when people step in, they go off and you hit whoever you're going to hit in this way towards front scenario. Very similar to what happened at the very beginning of our adventure, where somebody devastated the inside of a bar. So you have a lot of different ways you could plan to do that. You have a very clear understanding of where people are probably coming in from. You know about what day they're going to arrive. The question is what do you want to do beforehand? Because you definitely don't want to get caught out in the open sea trying to fight the blue shark to get to Leskin. That is definitely not
I think the only thing that I think what Talvara is actually worried about and what she's bringing to the group is what do we do when the bombs go off and everyone scatters? Because everybody else will scatter when a bomb goes off. So it's like, I think she's kind of pointing out, you all have one chance. This is why you might want to start real subtle.
Do we want to?
Yeah, I think
it is Jess's turn. Damn it, go.
Yeah, I was gonna say Silphi was gonna suggest that, like, because we want to see a little bit of what they're saying and see a little bit of what they're up to. Obviously, we want revenge, but there's also value in the event that is happening here. So setting it up in a way where we can kind of fall back into the traps. Do you know what I mean? Kind of like, observe and listen and spy if possible. If not, to engage and talk if necessary. And then should that fail, a series of safeties in place so that, as we fall back to the ship or lead them into, an area, that's where we have prepared all our, plan Bs and Cs and Ds.
And could Dayra potentially, since she's the one of us that can actually swim, potentially attach some glass to the boat? Not our boat, their boat, the shark.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Dayra, knowing the blue shark as she does, she could do some things that would upset it. The best thing to possibly do would possibly to make sure that the blue shark is set loose with minimal crew on board. So separating from the docks would be your smartest play. Rather than trying to set it on board the blue shark, which could cause it to rampage. Like, it's a big ship. Like, there are lots and lots of crew members on this ship. And even when they go down to a skeleton crew, it'll make the boat harder to control based on it being a living creature. So detonating glass onto the docks will force people to try to swim to a boat that's not exactly easy to board because it's alive. You're disrupting the crew's ability to move around and keep the boat out of the fight, as opposed to trying to set it off on the boat, which could cause the boat to possibly attack things, and that would be even more problematic. Unless you want that much chaos.
That makes sense.
Shri, then you can do that. There's also a super chaotic plan there.
Talvara is a little more pragmatic than Shri, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that idea. I think letting it, like, swimming up, letting it loose with skeleton crew is probably, like, because Dayra knows the back of her hand. She served a lot of years on that ship.
And then Silphi's plan of basically giving us somewhere to fall back to and leading them to mines and danger is, I think that's really good too.
Yeah, you guys.
Because I
have a
think we're
button,
gonna
you can-
basically need to do both sides in order to actually like do anything decent. And
Sure.
Talvara will mention to Rin that she might need to stay on the ground. They might be looking for her or someone like her. She might be a little more
in the air.
obvious there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Probably. Ooh, probably. Like you said, there's some buildings on, like, or some structures already there.
There's 6 as everything starts to the water starts to reside. You see about 6 structures. One's more of a general town meeting place. The other ones all seem to be either combinations of barracks or housing or things that people have lived out of from time to time. If you wanted to beforehand, you could probably go in there and disconnect some of the outskirts like the outskirt connecting paths, because the issue is once the water finishes receding, these are drops into the water at that point in time. So there's kind of not really rope bridges, but more like crustacean bridges between these things, and you could disconnect some of the crustacean bridges, and it's pretty much expected they're going to meet in the main area, because they're meeting somebody. You're going to go to the largest building. There's members of crew. So if you separate it out, because you guys have about 8 yellow glass charges, if I remember correctly. In my notes, it says 8. 7, because Dayra threw one. So you now have 7 glass charges. And you're going to need 2 to disconnect the boat from the docks, which is the most important part. 3 completely guarantees separating it and possibly damaging the boat. But if you wanted to set up a path backwards from like the main meeting area to like a series of 2 other buildings to fall away from, so you guys can try to fight a fighting retreat, that is very doable. It means spending your time. Go ahead.
If we cut not all of the bridges, because that would be looking very suspicious, but if we leave only 2 entrances, 2 bridges in and out of the main town hall thing, and or all these side places that they could run to, just booby trap the heck out of them. I mean, once we blow the dock, then they wouldn't have anywhere to run.
What if we potentially, those bridges, instead of actually like cutting them, we make them, we like do that thing where you like 3/4 cut something, so then the pressure of literally anyone doing anything breaks it?
Yeah.
Sure.
Rather than, so that way they think everything looks completely fine and normal until they go to use it.
Can we?
Rin seems to be really good at doing this, by the way.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Just
Talvara is like a more aggressive version of Rin. She's just more in your face about it.
Rin's like
Rin might have
sawing into the bottom parts. Yeah, Rin's sawing into the bottom parts of some of these planks so that, like, from the top it looks fine, but then if someone steps on it, it will break through as well. So, like, couldn't even hop, skip, jump over them. And then we probably want to leave at least 2 bridges completely intact for us to use, right? In case we need to scoop the boop. Then you could put, like, sharp things, like, ready to just, like, drop from the insides of, like, the buildings that they might, even if they do manage to get to them, they just, like Home Alone, you know that one scene with the column? Just, like...
Oh my
But, you know, with knives.
Oh my god, we're Kevin McAllister, guys.
We're Kevin McAllister during this entire island.
Someone get Macaulay Culkin on the phone. We want him on this stream.
He do. Yeah. So you do some sabotage work. You set it up. You get it going. About 2 days out, you'll also notice there's other boats starting to kind of patrol the area. None of them are seafaring boats. They're very nice boats. So your speculation is probably that you're starting to see the other half of this particular group starting to scout this area. This is shortly after you've done your sabotage work. So you've managed to get it in before they start coming around.
Nice.
They don't seem too worried about it. They're not over so confident they're not doing anything, but they are like at least starting to patrol the area. So you guys have to dip in and out a little bit more carefully to make sure your work is getting done and things you're looking at. Where do you want to set up your glass and how are you using it? That's one of the bigger important questions moving forward, because those are a finite resource. And this distribution of said finite resource is very important at this point in time.
I mean, I think the 3 at the docks is a guarantee, because if we want to make sure we set that boat free, that's 3 of them right there.
We
Okay.
don't want them getting back to that thing.
Okay.
And if they do get back to it, we want it to be useless to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
Do we? Okay.
That leaves us with 4.
Because you said there's one building here that's kind of almost more like a town hall-esque kind of area, right?
Yeah, it's clearly a meeting building. You could use it if everybody wanted to sleep on the floor, but it's the biggest building. It's where you would have a meeting place. It's basically a meeting building. It's very open and empty. Once you get inside, you can tell that they've kind of grown the seats out of the crustaceans in the ground and have grown up out into what would be a dining hall, but there's a larger open area in the center that you use for like an assembly floor. So,
Are there any places to hide?
Since we have had...
yeah, you could hide in the rafters. You could, and here's the issue, because it's not cleaned up yet, there's still like muck. These things were underwater for a while. So there's lots of like
Rin would not
muck
have a
and
good
other
time
things
with that.
to manipulate to generate areas to hide. You could pile up, somebody could literally hide under a pile of seaweed in the corner if they really wanted to.
So my thinking is, because of Spencer's knowledge of explosions and I guess Amaranthus's knowledge of yellow glass, if we can somehow get them all into that meeting hall, if we have some yellow glass in there and it explodes and it's all enclosed, that means more damage and sort of a bigger explosion because it has nowhere to go.
treat
yes
it
and
like
no.
the
So
thing from before.
Yeah.
So it's more like your shrapnel is bouncing all around the room because there's nowhere for
Yeah.
the shrapnel to leave. Think of it more like
Mhm.
a claymore more than you're dealing with an actual explosion. That the
Mhm.
thing that's doing the damage in the yellow glass is the projectiles themselves, not the explosion that it caused.
Yeah, not the...
Not
okay,
to-
okay. So it's not like
Not
a
to mention-
grenade where you're more likely to be killed by the force than the actual...
Correct.
Okay.
It's more like a claymore where the ball bearings are doing all the damage and tearing people apart.
Gotcha. Cool. Okay.
And then when they do scatter and run onto these bridges, they're just gonna snap and drop them.
Mm-hmm. They are.
And
Now
we
keep
can
in
just
mind,
pick
most of
them
the
off.
seafarers will be fine in the water. Like them swimming in the water isn't going to hurt them, but it will get them out of the fight effectively. It removes them as a viable target to deal with at that moment.
Mhm.
You know. But yeah, that's the type of structure. So you could set up some yellow glass inside the building and hope to hit people inside of the building for sure.
Okay. Cool.
Um,
How many do we want to use? Because we have, 4 left at this point?
you have 4 left. Mm-hmm.
I feel like 1 or 2. I don't think we want to put all our eggs in one place.
Mhm.
Let's say, are people cool with 2, or do we just want to use 1 in there? Because this is a group thing, so I want to make sure everybody's cool with 1 or the other.
I think 2 is fine. I honestly thought putting 3 in there just to.
Oof.
But yeah, no, 2 is fine, and then we can save the other 2 for other things.
Yeah,
Okay.
we could save the other 2 for after we run across for our escape, throwing back at people or something.
Mm-hmm.
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 So there's that. From there, you've booby trapped with some spiky traps along the bridges that you guys are using to retreat. And are you setting up to try to like camouflage or hide your boat under like one of the last buildings in the thing? Or are you setting up your boat to kind of match stuff so you can, kind of try to sneak in after they get in? Or where do you want to put your own boat and how do you want to use it at this point in time? Because I assume we're not looking to drive in guns a-blazing.
Yeah, I
No,
feel
and
like
we need to be able to get out of here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Probably disguising it with
probably.
one of the lower buildings is probably going to be a better plan.
Yeah. Make
It
look
will
like-
take a little bit of finagling, but you can probably make the boat look like it's just kind of derelictly tied to the building. You will probably have to hide the brand new heavy spitter you have and not mount it until you have to reveal it and hold the tarp away. Can't just have it hanging out because that'll really stand out. You'll be like, wow, that's a real derelict boat with a brand new heavy spitter slapped onto the side of it. That's not so sus at all.
Nah. It's normal. What are you talking about?
It's normal. So, due to Rin's ability to know how to sabotage works and Dayra's ability to sail, you basically make the ship look like it's been taking on water. It's just kind of lined up against the side of it. Due to the guide work, mercenary work, and again, sabotage work, you guys could basically set yourselves up with a little area and hollow out kind of the back of the building there. So you basically can make it look like you're basically creating an exit out the back wall of the building, as well as basically kind of putting a falser front wall in the building for a place for you guys to hide out in the last day or so as things start really cracking down on security. But it means you'll have to have everything you need ready to go. You're basically living the last day and a half inside this Kevin McAllister-esque fortress you guys have set up here.
You're having mac and cheese at 6 p.m.
Sure.
I was literally gonna say I'm
What is
coming
it?
around with tea now. It's tea time, everyone. You have to take regular breaks.
Mm-hmm.
Does Pox get his own cup yet, or is he still just drinking all of Talvara's tea? Because he will just sit on her shoulder and drink all Talvara's tea. He will.
Yeah, I think once Silphi saw that the first time, you would get your own teacup.
He holds it like a very dapper gentleman. And then shoves his mouth into it to eat.
Yeah.
Pinky's out.
He's out.
One claw
Yeah.
out. Yes.
Oh my god, Rin would have bought him just like a tiny little teacup just for him, just to.
There you go.
Oh.
Rin is
He's-
doting on your animals.
It's gonna, somebody needs to. He's like, they are weapons of war. Don't.
No, I mean, Talvara dotes on them when everyone else isn't. But since everyone else is, they're spoiled now. They're gonna forget how to be weapons of war.
Mm-hmm. Great destroyers. So, does anybody have anything else they would like to add? Any secret things they would like to do? Any mental preparations they like to have? Because I'm going to turn it over to you guys role-playing those last few moments before we get into the giant finale next week
Oh.
with explosions, apparently. There are clearly going to be explosions in our finale.
I have something I want to do, but I'm gonna save it for last. I want other folks to go first.
Mm-hmm.
I think Talvara's just like, she has stolen back Rax, and she has Pox sitting on her shoulder, and she pulls him down so he's sitting like with Rax, and just gives them a pep talk and makes sure they understand the plan. Just like, this is what you're doing. If anything gets close to you, you kill them. And you, if this one's in trouble, you fly over and save him. We never leave behind family. And then she kisses them both on their little heads and wipes a little bit of the slime from Pox off her mouth. And it's just like, right, let's do this. And you guys see Pox just kind of rise up a little bit and look like his eyebrows just kind of, or his eyes just kind of narrow just a little bit. It's still real cute, but it looks like a really, really mad toddler. Like he's trying real hard to look scary, and it's just not very effective because he still has his little hands up like this. And Rax just yawns and stretches and starts flying.
Mm-hmm.
we leave Charlie at the townhouse? Just in case the ship gets blown up or something of that nature? We don't want Charlie caught in the blast.
Oh yes, I was teaching Charlie a trick. Charlie, show everyone your trick. And boom! And I make like a big loud bang noise, and he curls up into a ball. He's like, oh, what a good safe boy.
I look at Pox and I'm just like, wait, you don't do that. You need to learn from Charlie.
Safety first. But yeah, I was definitely trying to find the safest location for Charlie and explaining to him, like, it's okay, you don't need to be part of every battle for this one. The best thing you can do is just hide, and if you hear a loud noise, you just do your little ball trick.
All right.
Just imagining him turning into this little pill bug kind of ball is the cutest thing I've ever thought of. It's so sweet. Although it's also terrifying because it's a backpack-sized bug.
Big. He must be like, if he like pill bugs, he must be like freaking beach ball sized or something.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Beautiful.
But yeah, I also like the idea that like just little Pox and little Charlie are like both going like ball open, ball open. That's how you prepare for battle, right? You do cute things with your cute pets.
We might die tomorrow.
Well,
Let's
you
do
gotta
cute
have
things.
fun before you fight.
Yeah.
Come on.
Right.
Yeah.
Actual.
Dayra, I was gonna say, Dayra goes to Talvara and just stands there for a second before reaching into her shirt and pulling out this. It's a claw. Well, no, it's kind of probably bigger than that. So she pulls it out of her pack. She pulls out this claw out of her pack, and it's in this glass jar. And Talvara recognizes it, the Wyvern Rider. So it's the Wyvern. It's his Wyvern's foot. And she looks at Talvara and says, "If something happens, well, I take that back. Just have this." And she like hands it over. I think I don't think I need it anymore.
Talvara isn't quite sure what to say to that, but she does take it. She doesn't hold on to it. She hands it immediately over to Rax and Pox, who like sniff at it and just knowing that smell, just start playing with it. Like that is just a toy to play with for them. That is something they know and that they've played with a million times. Well, Rax does. Pox is probably still distracted by Charlie in the ball game, but I mean,
Aw.
and I think Talvara just looks kind of, after doing this, she just looks up at Dayra and just nods. We're both surviving this, and you're still telling our mother because she's going to be pissed. And I'm not taking that one. That's not my hit. Sorry.
I have a 22 in defense, so I think I can take it.
My 19 hasn't helped very much when it comes to her.
Meta.
But funny meta.
It is.
Yep.
I don't know. If I learned anything from this game with having Bug Mom, you can't. There's no amount of defense that protects you from mom damage.
No, there isn't.
Not from that flying chancla, I tell you.
Yeah. Okay. So, I'm going to do a couple things here. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to pull aside Rin and Silphi. Okay. So, I'll be frank and say that we might die tomorrow. We don't know how this is going to go. So, all cards on the table. I'm one of you. And they they are being awkward about it, but you sit there and you think, and if you're still confused, they sort of point to their right hand where there is now sort of this strip of flesh just gone and scarred, and will sort of just trace out the symbol of the Red Alliance with their finger.
Did my uncle do that?
I frankly don't have a damn clue.
But that's
Someone
that
did.
was that happened recently. That
Enhanced interrogation, so yes.
why didn't you say anything before?
I didn't know that the two of you were members of it.
We were in the camp.
Well, I figured it out once we got to the camp, but
my whole entire nephew was there as like a captain of the. It's was that not a bit of a humdinger of a clue?
No, I figured it out whenever you gave codes, but the thing is, you know now.
Is that why they grabbed you?
Very well could have been. I mean, I'm an informant for them. I don't really know much.
Did they ask you?
Yes, you were actually the worst possible choice for them to take.
Yeah. They were. As far as I can honestly remember, I didn't tell them anything because I didn't know anything.
Sometimes that's for the best. And Silphi's gonna like just take your hand and like hold it kind of like reassuringly and just squeeze it for a second. Where you like trying not to like avoid where you have like an injury, like trying to go around in a comforting way, and just I'm sorry for any confusion and if we get out of this, of course we could use your help more if you are offering it, but also as worked out in this scenario, sometimes only knowing what you need to know might be the best way, but just knowing that you of course support this very important cause, it fills my heart with joy. So thank you for I hope you know that I appreciate you a lot.
And in the time you know them, they're not the most affectionate sort of individual. But we'll just very...
What are you talking about? I saw you smooch it. Kidding.
No, you didn't. We'll just very softly just sort of hug Silphi. It's a little awkward because of the height difference, but Yeah.
It's like, just like...
Oh god, like, Ame's got about almost like a solid 2 feet on Silphi.
2
my
feet!
God.
Just like, is it like a pull into the, like, yes, there, like...
It's like a
Like a
basketball
side
player
hug.
hugging their like tiny grandmother.
Yeah.
It's exactly what it is.
It's a Shaq wife hug. It's awkward.
Yeah. Now...
A little side snuggle. It's okay. We're fine.
Yeah. Now, I have someone else I should probably go talk to. Because like I said, we might die tomorrow.
Yes, you have things to tell someone? Important things?
We'll call them that, yes. And
Mhm.
before they get any more flustered, walks out of the room.
Yes, have fun. Tell Dayra we say hi.
They're totally going to smooch. What do you think?
They're absolutely going to smooch.
Rin and Silphi are just like, like having a little side conversation.
The thing about being rebels and informants, it makes you great gossips. Like gossipers.
The hottest goss.
And I'm not sure if we're in separate rooms in this place or if we're just sort of all in general common areas, sort of.
It's kind of built into a general common area unless you took the time to try to build more private quarters.
Okay. Cool. So Talvara is probably going to see this in some manner. Is going to go and find Dayra.
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
Hey. What's up?
Well, talked with Ren and Silphi earlier. To be quite honest, I don't know how this is going to play out because, I mean, let's be frank, if this goes terribly, we could all die tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's very possible.
And there are some things I should probably get out now so I don't have any regrets if I die tomorrow.
You'll be dead. What will you regret? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Dayra, I don't know how to put these things into words, but I love you. This is new. This is entirely new. I don't know any other way to put it. Not to make things awkward, but that was my first kiss earlier.
Oh.
No, it's okay. You didn't know.
Well.
And before Dayra can respond, Amaranthus leans down and kisses Dayra.
Wow. Okay. Well, we've known each other a long time, haven't we? And
they just go like a little bit.
And the past few weeks have been great. After Chris, I forgot what it was like to be in love. I can honestly say, I can remember now. Amma, you're great. And I hope there'll be more firsts for us. In fact, I know there will be. Tomorrow's gonna go fine. We're gonna make it out of this. And we'll have a first real kiss on a beach somewhere at sunset. And it'll be breathtaking and beautiful. And I'll take off Octavia, because she's kind of a strange third wheel everywhere I go.
Yeah, speaking of that whole thing, only reason I really couldn't contribute many sapphires to the boat, and they sort of pull out what appears to be like a sealed piece of parchment and unfolds it. And there's like a deed to a very, it's not much, it's a very small to like medium-sized just piece of land that is somewhat off of a coast somewhere. Don't.
What's that? What's that for?
Well, and they just turn a deeper shade of green. Just needed something I could call my own maybe after all this is over. And this seems like a good place to start.
Yeah, near a coast. Sounds like a good idea.
Okay. So, I'm not sure if good luck is the right thing to say about what's going to happen tomorrow, but whatever it is, that's what's happening tomorrow. So,
all the gods are gone. Luck is all we've got.
yeah, I guess it is. Oh, I totally imagine in my head, though, Talvara heard all of that.
I think Talvara doesn't say a word and doesn't acknowledge that she's heard it, except she looks at the griffin claw foot piece, or yeah, griffin? Wyvern. There it is. And looks at Rax and goes, well, I guess I can see why she didn't need that anymore.
Ooh, boy.
Ooh, that's a spicy meatball.
I mean,
Ouch.
that's kind of why she said that. She's moving on from the pain. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Oh.
Legit.
And for Talvara, that pain is all brand new.
Mm-hmm. But I think we can wrap there, unless anybody else has anything they need to do, and we can do our outros. See Jess grooving. I think we're wrapping there, Darby. I've spoken. I said good day.
They just had a moment. Gosh.
We'll smooch again at the beginning of next episode. It's fine.
Yeah.
No, you gotta wait until like the most dire moment, like when like everyone's lives are in danger, and then
next episode, it'll be.
And then just spend your action smooching instead. It's fine.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You don't need that action. I need to take
moment.
a fast action. Smooching. It's pretty fast action.
You like reach across to each other from across a bridge and then just dip.
We can deal with whatever romantic novel cover we're going to envision this happening on later.
Yes.
But I think it's time to call it and do our outros. And I think we start with Jess again, as always, at the top of the clock.
Hi, it's me. My name is Jess. You can find me online most places at go_JG. I'm a queer Canadian content creator, variety streamer, TTRPG, nerd, writer, producer, all those sorts of things. You can come hang out with me over on my Twitch channel. We're doing a lot of heckin' Stardew Valley and Hades and Hollow Knight lately. So yeah, just having fun doing games. Not this weekend though. I'm taking my first weekend off in like a year, so can't find me. I'll be gone. But after that, I'll be around basically all the time. So then you should go find me, follow me at all the places, and I'm so excited for next week. And you know, that slurp count should go up one more. Just saying, the slurp count needs to go up one more. There was one more slurp, and then and hopefully we get a smooch counter in there for next week. Peace out.
All right. My favorite possums in a skin suit is next.
Yes, 'tis I. My name's Darby. Fuck. Holy shit. You can find me on Twitter as @DarbyPack. That's a real human name, but really I'm just possum in a skin suit. When I'm not here, you can catch me Mondays on the Critical Misses channel for Kingsguard, a Roll20 Spotlight game of D&D 5th edition. You can also catch me on the Chaotic Pod Twitch channel, which right now is streaming an episode of our pre-recorded D&D 5th edition game called Hidden Magics, where I play a totally normal human cleric who never does anything weird and is definitely not a werewolf in disguise. So, you can check that out if you want to see more of my face this evening. But besides that, you can catch me there on the Chaotic Pod Twitch channel on Wednesdays playing video games. I don't know what I play. I play whatever I feel like. It might be League. And on Saturdays, on Chaotic Pod Twitch channel, where I play video games with my co-host Harper. And if you just like hearing my voice and not seeing my face, you can listen to our podcast, Chaotic Creations, where Harper and I take weird prompts to make weird TTRPG characters. So, yeah, I think that's it. So,
Bring it down to Gigi.
Hey everybody, I'm Gigi. I am OMGG on Twitter and pretty much everywhere else, but on Twitter it is a nice little 0 before it. Just so the rest of the group here is aware, the smooch counter has been added. So we will have a smooch counter next session. You can find me here next week, and after that you can message me if you want me in your game, because I am super down. But that is about it for me.
Marlo.
That's me. I'm Marlo. You can find me on Twitter at MarloBogwitch. That's Bogwitch with 2 G's. I do things other than here too. Sometimes. I have a game on every other Saturday. It's a 5e game. I play a spooky over there who uses fear and intimidation instead of inspiration. She uses inspiration too sometimes. She can do that, but it's fear mostly. Other than that, like Darby said, if you like to hear my voice and not see my face, you can find me over on Sins of the Father. It's a fifth edition role playing actual play podcast where we play kids who get in the muck of it. We get in fights. We get messed up. And it's rough, it's tumble, and some serious stuff just went down. We're nearing the end of our first season, and it's a great show, well edited. And I don't just say that because I'm the editor. It really is good. That's all I've got going on right now. So yeah, that's me.
Thank you, Spencer.
Yeah, I am Spencer at SpencerDVA on Twitter, Discord, etc. Things happened today, and I am excited to see where our final episode takes us, as sad as I am for it to come. So be sure to tune in next week as we see what happens to this group of protagonists, adventurers, other descriptors that Paul has used for us, etc.
Factual. And I'm Paul. I've been your keeper. You can find me at PaulMarchant6 at Twitter. And this is the only thing I'm doing right now, but I am also, much like Gigi, if you're down, you want me to come play on your game or possibly run you something, get a table together, I'm happy to help out. Hit me up.
Side note to that, Paul and I would like to both be in one of your games and emotionally destroy both each other and everyone else around us. It is a legit 2021 goal. So if you could help us do that, we would love you forever.
Keep the dream alive. We would like to do that. And that's us. So I believe we are Audi 5000, hopefully.